Just gotta start it. And today, we ain't playing Chaos. We're playing Tomb Kings. Where are they at? There they are. Exploring the new meta. Tournament has begun. Late seconds, welcome. Alright. Let's do it. I got my opponent. It's death by ricochet. Very nice. Oh, yo. Send them the code. And we'll see what this meta looks like. Honestly, I think Tomb Kings might be super strong. Maybe I'm incorrect. But that's what today is supposed to be testing. Anytime I run into something new, I like to play it. Just so I can get an idea of its strengths and weaknesses. And to start off, they're playing Dwarves. Jeez. Alright. That's not good. Never been able to catch me live? Oh, dang. Did your schedule change? Usually I'm streaming at the same time, though there was some daylight savings shenanigans. Happy to have you here, Just Sweet. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to see how today goes. Tomb Kings are, generally speaking, I feel like they're pretty good. Feel like they're a pretty strong faction. You just have to be very good at microing your single entities. I believe that is the gist of it. Let's see here, spells wise, this is all good. Could try some chariots versus the dwarves, but honestly, this is not a chariot meta. Chariot meta is dead, I'm sorry, people. Yeah, is this good versus dwarves? Should be good enough. Dude, Kotep is cheap, man. Kotep is basically free. It's not great for you, Tomb Kings versus dwarves. It's not, but I think there's a good few strategies I can employ that should do pretty well. Realistically, you just have to not die to slayers. Don't die to slayers. It's that simple. Just have some range units, some chaff, and usually they can't really do much about that. Kepper Guard, they're not fully AP, rip. Still though, also pretty fine versus the Dowie. And I think I basically have a build. This is not a very complicated build, but it should be fairly strong. Of course, dwarves are a gyrocopter faction. If you're facing a flying faction, make sure to take a couple flyers. Have I considered turning on comments on for my YouTube live streams? Comments should be on. If you watch a stream right after it finishes though, then the comments might not load. But let me check. Let me take a look-see. So if I go to one of my older streams, I'll need it to give it a second to load. But yeah, if I go to one of my older streams, does it have comments? Looks like it does. Yeah, I think you're just catching my streams too quickly after the end. Very unfortunate. But alright. So look at this. Tomb King's meta right now is basically chaff spam and these big monsters, which is very similar to the old Tomb King style. Sometimes you have some necrotechs. But instead of just bogging down your enemy into infinity, The way this build works is you're just up trading into them very heavily. So, two big monsters like this, over the course of the whole battle, they generally crush it pretty hard. You just have to babysit them extremely well. You also have a bunch of skeleton horsemen to keep control of the points. And if you just kind of trade evenly, you're in a pretty good spot. I got Skullstorm, in case there's any low armor dwarves. This is actually really good, 21 damage per second. We're gonna have 12 units. Ungrim, we're gonna have a slow dude. We're gonna have a Rune of Wrath and Ruin. So a lot of Runes of Wrath and Ruin. The guy will want to be, yeah, pulling off some shenanigans against me. Bunch of slow spam. And he's gonna immediately get some sick Grimdelver action on my poor guys. That's unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world. In fact, these guys are a little exposed. So what I think we can do here, actually, is just rush on in. We're going to alley-oop, check out that spell. I'm going to go over here, and then we're going to check out another one right on top of them. And we're going to try and make use of the fact that my opponent is rather exposed right now. I believe they've overextended ever so slightly. They've brought in an artillery piece, which will not be perfect here. Could use the incantation of protection, but I don't think I need to just yet. And this is overall a pretty solid start. We're going to be able to shut down that cannon pretty hard. Let's use this now. It's all about the disruption. Just make sure their range units aren't shooting, and you're good. He's going to check out a Slayer unit, but you can see the big kitty cat goes right through them. It does not care much about this few Slayers anyways. Whoop. I do get one accidentally caught up though, that's bad. But there we go, now they're on top of the Grimdelvers and life is fairly comfortable. Overall, not too bad, I'd say. I just need to stop them from shooting forever. But obviously because they spent so much money on these guys, on their runesmiths, they're not going to have a lot of actual fight in them. So life is pretty good. Where's this cat? Kitty cat. We're just gonna get him away from Ungrim. Gets the physical resist right before he gets chopped. Very good. Bugmans can be a little bit annoying. But yeah, really you can just see the dwarves. The dwarves are struggling hard here to actually stop the tide of Tomb Kings. Value-wise, it's kind of close, but my guys heal. So, this should be quite difficult. So, we'll see. The grind continues. I do have Ushapti in here now, though. Dude, the double Sphinx is just so brutal. Yeah, Tomb Kings, they got really good monsters. And he's going to summon an artillery piece, which is kind of crazy. He's already been struggling to defend his cannon, but to bring in a whole bit of artillery is just going to make it even worse, yeah? I believe so. All these range units are barely able to get anything done. The miners got super hard countered by my Ushapti. And Ungrim is, you know, just he's doing his best. Ungrim's just trying to get into position to actually kill these big kitty cats. But boy, are they oppressive. Only at half HP down, they are still extremely healthy. Today's a good day. Today's a good Tomb Kings day. Honestly, I feel like I'm not even microing these kitty cats as well as I could be. They could be doing a lot more damage. And just focus them a little bit better. So he's gonna chuck out a little ability on him to try and slow it down. But that's not gonna help much. It's not gonna help too much because he has physical resist buffs. Now, unfortunately for me, the capture point did get taken, but Tomb Kings are real good at taking capture points back. That's not a big issue. We're gonna get that little artillery piece shut down soon. And the big kitty, it is taking a little bit of damage. Slightly unfortunate, but I think we're still good. And now that we've secured the lead, Tomb Kings are amazing at re-securing points. So we'll just use them precisely for that. Once you go for the horseman spam, it is so hard to dislodge the Tomb Kings. And we have horsemen in spades, I tell ya. If you can't beat the Tomb Kings, you play as them. I think okay, alright. It's not because I can't beat them, I'm just struggling very hard. Okay, maybe they have been giving my Warriors of Chaos a hard time. I'm looking for inspiration. They might just be naturally good versus factions like that because of their strong single entity killing power. Okay, so he is actually going to get that thing defended. That's a little unfortunate, but not the end of the world. Let's give that physical resist again so that this thing just never dies. And then once I pool all my boys here, we're good. Poor old Ungrim is not going to be enough. Oh, hey, and the Hail Mary gyrocopters, hell yeah. Immediately countered by the Garrion. Very nice. And once I get all my dudes on the point, we are good to go. Ain't no way he manages to defend this. And the tickets will definitely not be looking good for him. You can see he spent a lot of resources to keep this grudge thrower alive. But the Goblobber isn't actually a super important part of the build for my opponent. And he's kind of just going to lose a lot of units there. They're just going to be doing essentially nothing. Now, they are defending it, so obviously my horsemen here, if I just send them in, I am giving my opponent a little bit of free value trading with these units. But if I just don't engage it for the rest of the battle, it's going to be effectively useless. Now, I imagine there's going to be a lot of minor spam to try and re-secure points. This is why we do this. We're just going to be getting Ushapti everywhere because they just destroy miners. And hey, look at that. He's disengaged from this. Very nice. So that means now my horsemen can go around and get some bullying done. Very, very good for me. The dwarves seem quite powerless, though I will say I did have a fairly good early game. Smart. He landed his gyrocopters. It's not going to be enough, though.
One of your units has been destroyed.
Hopefully I don't lose one of these sphinxes. Is he going to summon more units over there? If he does, it's not the end of the world. Yeah, he's just going to summon another miner, but here's the problem, right? He's never going to actually get this point. My cavalry's just a little too fast. I will say it is quite nifty, though, having the little kill squad to shut down the sphinxes. But this guy has, like, what? 1,300 value. Ungrim is at 1,100. I guess that's not bad for Ungrim. Then again, he did need to take 2 runesmiths, but they also got a decent amount of value too, so I guess not a terrible strategy for my opponent then. This is, by the way, yeah, the cruelty of taking artillery. You always end up leaving them undefended. I did lose 1 Sphinx though. So well played there on my opponent's part. But this match is super over. This is like actually impossible. Dwarves just do not have the capture weight pressure. Maybe if they gave them a fast infantry unit for 500. If they could summon, like, you know, a unit of slayers at 500 just for capture weight, then maybe they'd have a chance. You do build center around the heal, or are you gonna monster mash, or both? A little bit of both. Although I don't know which heal you speak of, but like the necrotect heal on the big monsters, that seems to be what's really good here. The big Tomb King's monsters, they seem to be... I misplayed. Shouldn't have let him get this point. But yeah, the big Tomb King's monsters, they get a lot of work done, man.
The enemy has captured one of your victory points. Take it back.
Quite terrifyingly so. Rip Goblobber. I should be able to have enough capture weight here, by the way. As soon as all my boys show up. If not them, it's going to be the horsemen that does it. But yeah, it seems like new meta definitely revolves around kind of a... Whoop, don't you dare die. New meta kind of revolves around this big old monster mash strat for the Tomb Kings. Run, Kontap! Kontap, run! He may die here. If he does, it's fine. Though a bit embarrassing, as usual. Gotta always have that Lord Death, right? That is the Anticity way. No, Kontap. It's fine, we got the capture point. And he's not gonna capture this. The game is still like 10,000 times over. I've kind of just been hanging out. Is he gonna steal this one too, though? That would actually be a little unfortunate. There's no way he gets this one, though. Here, I'll just get Carrion to bog him down. Good cavalry defense on the Goblobber, by the way. But yeah, you see this? Skelly horses. They're too good. Cat and Lord throws. Yeah, they're all dead. It's fine. At some point, I should practice not loosening up once I have an advantage. That's a really bad habit of mine. And it makes me throw games, but... let's just take it easy for a bit. We're learning the Tomb Kings. That was a nice short battle. Ungrim got 2k value. Surprise. But the thing is, he couldn't defend his range units. They did not really pay for themselves, and they were kind of a liability. Honestly, if he went max melee, well, I guess I would have the War Sphinxes. Maybe max melee with the slows, he could get something done. The 2 artillery piece summons, though, is what really screwed him over. Like, these 3 summons? Nothing, man. They did nothing. Chariot time? Yeah, no chariots, my bad. Yeah, Tomb King builds, the thing that was beating me, because I was playing Chaos, I think Tomb Kings beat Chaos by getting the Sphinx of Uskep. You get like a Necrotect, and you can heal it. You can have a War Sphinx in reserve. And then you just go like a bunch of mobile pieces. So like, this ends up being super annoying. Very hard to deal with as a Chaos player because your Forsaken are obviously going to die to the monsters. Your Skirmishers get outranged. So it's not a whole lot you can really do. It's a little tricksy. I kind of wonder if this works versus Norsca and the like too. Is Kontep the best now? Kontep is pretty good. Lich Staff is really good. You can spell spam so that they can't chuck spells out. Honestly, this is just like super solid versus these more melee factions. And if I can learn it, then I can start bringing Tomb Kings myself in tournaments and such. But yeah, essentially you're dealing with something kind of like this. There you go. So that spending works out pretty well. You got the Necrotect with the mega debuffs. You got the heals. You can go for a second Necrotect if needed. You don't need that much infantry. It's mostly just like a little mobile squad. Sometimes they go chosen of the gods. You see that a little bit. Yeah, this is like the rough idea. The necrotechs are sometimes in reserve too. Will scorpions ever be good? They were good, so it's not hard to get them back, but since the impact damage changes, these guys have been better. How's this deal with hero single entity squads? Don't Tomb King struggle against that? Not with this guy, man. You have the Sphinx of Uskep. This is a 59-50 statted unit with bonus versus large 35. Imagine Alberic, but stronger. Alberic with way higher melee defense, man. Speed is a little slower, but 100 armor is nasty. You got 10,000 HP. This thing wins all SE duels. I think, yeah. And then usually big, strong single entities don't do well because capture points become an issue. But this has a solution. It has a grand old solution. You just use the horseman spam. It's honestly quite terrifying. Now, I'll have to figure out the chosen of the gods situation. If I shift all of these guys here, chosen of the gods barely don't fit in. This is a solid build number 2. I kind of like this better because you get a little bit of value with these guys early on. It's a very mobile playstyle, which is up my alley. You got the Mega Tap. Honestly, this is kind of sick. Give Scorpions a worm ability. If they could burrow and move around burrow, that would actually be sick. It's a very strong ability, though. If they just did that without increasing its price or anything, maybe it just becomes OP. Especially if the unburrow ability does damage, like the Dreadmaw. Oh, nice. Looks like we have an opponent. All right. Yo, yo. We're up against Michu. Pretty sick. Map is Bray Valley. Then we're gonna try out this build maybe. They're gonna be counterpicking me, so that should be interesting. I hope they go for Chaos and Norsca. Are you the only one that thinks worms aren't that OP? There's a lot of people that say the worms aren't too crazy. There's some silence shenanigans that people use, but the upper limit of worms is really high. So maybe not like OP as in like fully oppressive, but one of the strongest units in the game. It really shuts down certain playstyles. But like, you know, there's some weird things about units in this game that are very strong. People tech their builds to deal with them, right? So if you have something like, let's say Slanesh, Hellstriders of Slanesh, very strong on the Warriors of Chaos roster. They're not going to look as strong when everybody is bringing Hellstrider counters, right? So what they do is they shape the meta, but they don't win games per se. See how that kind of changes things? Yeah. So like Dreadmaws, you don't see them doing well because people don't take a lot of ranged infantry versus Dreadmaw factions. Hey, Noble Naldor, hello. But if you play on the reg and you just try like a normal build and then you run into a Dreadmaw, it can feel so bad. Kind of depends though. There's the other side where maybe you find a normal build that can mitigate the Dreadmaw, but that's still meta shaping. Ooh, Norsca. High Elves Norsca Coast. I want to play versus Norsca so bad. This is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. I really want to see how this build does against them. Because it seems pretty good versus Warriors of Chaos, but Norsca's a little bit of a different beast. Maybe we face a ton of Bearmen, I don't know. What's the new Tomb Kings meta? It's like a bunch of skeleton horsemen and like an SC Doom squad with Necrotechs. It's real strange. It's not really like infantry spammy, and it's like pretty good at fighting. It's kind of like a value trading SE squad. Nurgle's final form. All the flesh has rotted off. I guess Nurgle has that weird regen, right? How are they constantly decaying, but they don't but they still have so much meat on them? That's decay and rebirth, right? Nurgle with the workarounds. Even if you don't bring the worm, the fact it exists on the roster can force the opponent to pick a particular army comp. Yeah. Now, it depends on what you mean by OP. So some people draw the line at OP. For OP, at the unit is so strong you can't even counter it. There were some factions and metas back in the day where there were playstyles that were genuinely overpowered to the point where you can know what they're gonna bring, and that's not gonna change it. They're gonna bring it anyways. So let's take Tuskor chariots at their peak, for example. Yeah, they're a chariot unit. Yeah, chariots get countered by ranged. Kind of. But Tuskor chariots are so fast and so high mass, they countered range. They countered single entities. You could get 4 Tuskor chariots and kill Mazdamundi on his mount. Like, now that's kind of crazy. They countered cavalry just by having janky hitboxes. They were also insanely fast. You know, that is definitively OP. Dreadmaws are obviously a tier lower, where they're just very meta defining, which is a lot more nebulous. The mask is not at the same level as Tuskor chariots at their peak. People don't run the mask 24/7. If the mask was truly hyper OP, couldn't be countered, people would play Tzeentch and transform into the mask. Now, some tournaments have banned that, but my tournaments allow all this stuff, and we don't see it very often. We also don't see Tzeentch mask shenanigans at in tournaments with prize pools either. So while the mask is definitely strong and definitely meta defining, they're not indestructible, unlike other things we've seen. Of course, I have nothing against restricting things that are meta defining. It takes quite the strong unit to be meta defining, but I just want to offer a little bit of perspective on the different layers of it, because I think a lot of people see something that's just strong and they're like, yeah, I guess that is stronger than your average unit, it should be banned, without really considering all the mini nuance. Ready, good luck, have fun. Let's see if this Tomb King's build beats Norsca. Armor block is gone. So here's the build. We got Kontap. He has a little cooldown increase ability. Every time I cast spells, he heals my stuff every time we cast spells. We got our Ushapte over here. For the Norscan side, it's a bunch of infantry. So this is definitely a Kemrian War Sphinx type situation. Just get the Sphinx going. So we're going to see if we can divide and conquer this Norscan force. I gotta kill off their javelins for sure. Those are bearmen. You gotta be a little careful around them. Got a Wolfric, alright. But what's he gonna do? If he unburrows a Dreadmaw here, I can I can get some work done. Is he gonna do it? Because I want to silence the Dreadmaw. That would be the best case scenario. Yeah, he knows. He knows I got the tech. Whoops, wrong unit. I'll just keep saving up for the War Sphinx. We'll just keep shooting him with my very strong Ushapti. As soon as I get another single entity going, should be fairly comfortable. See how annoying these horsemen are. They outrange his javelins. So it's just kind of a lot of suffering. I will say this is a very high micro build though. Micro attacks is pretty intense with this one. Dude, those poor javelins though, they're getting wrecked. Okay, we're gonna have some skin wolves. I should be fine against them. Yeah, the deeps is very high. Oh, there we go. So there's the silence. He's gonna try and jump my poor dudes over here. But I have a lot of guys to screen. I have another big single entity over yonder. And now his poor Dreadmaw is taking a lot of deeps. Which I don't think he very much appreciates. He's gonna be, yep, trying to reburrow it. But now its cooldowns are increased yet again. Gotta pull the card tap away from the big monsters. And now we're gonna have a little bit of a tussle. A little bit of a fight. We're gonna buff up my big Sphinx. Make it super annoying. He does manage the escape though. Alright. Before I can get his cooldowns going. But I think this is still doing pretty good. Because at the end of the day, the Dreadmaw really didn't do that much. It just disrupted my guys for a little bit. We still have most of our horsemen alive. Dreadmaw's just kind of stuck in the ground right now. Chimera's getting clobbered by my dude. How's the Codtep doing? He's doing all right. He's doing pretty good. I just need, let's see here. Maybe we start summoning in the stronger horsemen. It'll be quite nice. The Dreadmaw can't heal, mind you. So that's gonna hurt it pretty bad. They're getting clobbered by my dudes here. And my Ushapti bows are still alive, mind you. Let's check out another silence. That anti-large is gonna get a lot of work done. Oh my goodness, those poor dudes. Absolutely brutalized. And Tomb King's lords tend to be quite annoying to actually to get killed. They end up being really slippery, I find. So you can see just how annoying they are. And as long as the javelins don't stay alive for too long, I think we're pretty comfortable. Value trading is very much in my favor, which is something that we see quite often here when we play against the Tomb Kings. He chucks out a burning head, but the question is it enough? The Norscan army is kinda just running out of units right now. You see what I mean, right? And now I just have a bunch of full HP single entities. That is really bad for the Norscans here. That is extraordinarily terrible for them. Chimera did not stand a chance, mind you. There you go. There goes all that infantry. We just go over here. And then, do I even need to check out some spells? I guess I'll kill off these Barrowmen. All I gotta do now is just recapture me some points. There you go, big route over there. Skullstorm looking pretty good. Should be able to get a nasty rear charge on these guys. Is that an Eden? That's an Eden. Okay, that's kind of nifty actually. I guess we'll just start shooting them. And I just need to secure some points. I think as soon as I get that done, I'm pretty happy. This one is not going as fast as I would have hoped for. There we go. It's still quite the micro-intensive build. He also has skin wolves somewhere over there. Gotta be a little wary. Yeah, it is a pretty micro-intensive build. This is the real deal breaker, by the way. You get the necrotect, and all the work that he spent trying to shut this down is going down the drain soon enough. There they are. Found the skin wolves. I just need my big monsters to show up. There we go. There's the big heal. Then we just start swarming them. Eden's getting pounded. Don't want him to cast no spells, so we're just gonna prevent that. And all his big, expensive single entities shall be dying very soon. I just gotta secure this point in a good amount of time. He's not gonna take this one, not with a bunch of raggedy units here. We got all the monsters. Eden is certainly taking a lot of damage. Oh geez, Kotep. Kotep gotta live. Engage slipperiness. Kotep should be fine. Okay. It's a little awkward, I'm not gonna lie. Just a smidge. This is going okay, not amazing actually. Let's buff that up. Norsca should be running out of units soon though. Okay, there we go. Skin wolves are dying. Then I just need to make sure he doesn't steal this point. If I keep swarming it with capture weight, that's gonna get the job done. It's gonna be a slight down trade, but it's still gonna get the job done. These skin wolves over here are not doing very well either. There's a heal for my war sphinx. Very nice. Oh, my poor Shopti. Shopti are having a little bit of trouble, but I think we're still doing good. Actually, I have more time than I think. As long as I can hold a double cap. It's only 1,000 tickets that my opponent is at. That's generally pretty good, I'd say. I just need to be able to secure this point in a decent amount of time. Maybe kill Wolfric if we're lucky. But yeah, Necrotech's doing just fine. I think we split up our forces here. Pull forwards with these guys. It's all about not losing the points, which can be a little bit awkward sometimes. This one is being secured though. Yeah, it feels a little close. Just a little bit. Okay, here we go. Should be able to get this one done. How's the middle going? It's going okay. I do still have the giant sphinx. I just need to actually secure this. Alley-oop. The skin wolves are basically dead. Okay, yeah, and I have my cavalry here, so they should be able to do okay. All right. Next up, more cavalry. More capture weights, more buying time, because my sphinxes are not going to die. They're going to be totally fine. It's a little bit sketchy, but as long as they stick around here, I'm happy. The Wolfric Clobbering is going well. And this point is going to get stolen soon, which is perfect. Tomb Kings are masters of point stealing, aren't they? There we go. Now he's not going to be able to secure this one. And Kotep just got to do the dance. The dance of his people. The spinneroos. Run, Kotep, run. Oh, I can jank the Chimera, by the way. If I walk this direction, the Chimera is also looking that direction. And for whatever reason, he doesn't want to attack me. This is the power of knowing how to really jank up the game. That's going to put him in a bad spot. Chimera taking heat. Big monster's doing pretty good. I won't be able to take this point, though. But we are able to kill off an entire Chimera, which is generally speaking quite the good thing for us. Though they do get this point. That means clock's actually ticking pretty hard right now. I have a minute and a half, so I'm gonna have to route off this force. Okay. It's gonna check out a nasty burning head. I think I want to go over here, actually. Yeah, clock is actually ticking pretty hard. Unfortunately, I don't have that much to summon in. I think what I want to do is save up for the horseman. Yeah, losing this point was pretty rough, actually. If I manage my plays a little bit better, I think this wouldn't be so sketchy. Now, it's not the end of the world. I don't think I will ever lose this point again. But yeah, I definitely really got to get in here and retake the point as fast as possible. Then it's going to be a mad dash for this one. Okay. Let's get all the forces we can. Kotep and the boys are here. Kotep's getting slowed down by a random unit of infantry. I think Norsca's mobility is slightly better than mine. Let's buff him up. Should be able to... Yeah, we should be able to hold this one. I have so many horsemen. There we go, and the point is secured. I imagine he's gonna start saving up money to maybe be annoying here. If he gets army wiped in this location, though, it's pretty over. 100 seconds for this skeleton to get here is fine enough for me. The mad dash. The mad dash, it begins. Okay, and he's gone all in to try and defend the home point. Makes a lot of sense. So can I make the transition soon enough? I have like 60 seconds. That is not a lot of time. I think he's barely gonna win. Ah, oh, dang, man. This game, if I just didn't lose this point here, I think we could have won it. Let's get another horseman. I'm just gonna grab literally everyone because the game depends on this working for me. And we're gonna have 40 seconds to take it. Now he's gonna summon something over here. So I can't afford to bring anything into this location. But yeah, he basically just ignored my big monsters for a long time. Now everyone's here. Everybody's arrived. Nice. Now what's he gonna summon? Yeah, there's the mobility. How will it do? Oh, man, dude, so close. So close. You routed off the skin wolves here. Do I have the capture weight? I do barely, but not in 4 seconds. GG. Okay, honestly, not bad. I think if I play a little bit more cagey and hold on to the 1 point, and then instead of going for the middle, I think we totally win that. I think we can win if I just play the build slightly better. GG. Not bad though. Hello, Renataki. Yeah, double necrotech for more heals. Chosen of the gods paid for themselves, which is good. I just needed to farm like a little bit more value, though. These guys were actually getting a lot of value off. Dreadmaw ended up living for a long time, very unfortunate, but we did kill the Chimera. I just needed to like hunker on 1 point. If I hold 1 point for the whole game and don't get triple cap, I have more than enough time to win it. It can totally just be a value farm. Whew. Yeah, I saved the 1 second by conceding at 14.99. You know, I still have to stick around to be completely sure that I don't get the point. I don't get much from there, but you never know. Sometimes points flip a lot faster than you'd expect, sometimes a lot slower. Could go infantry and melee shopty. That's a more typical style. I'm trying to learn this new build though. Yeah, the Chosen of the Gods. I didn't micro them super well. Ideally, they actually shouldn't have died there. I kind of left them abandoned. I don't think I have to keep the Sphinx on them either. I could have used the Sphinx to bully as infantry more. You really need to be maximizing the value of these single entities. But if you can do that, it's not too bad. I just didn't position my army well. If I should have gone full left on a map like that. Full left would be best. If you go for the high ground first, you kind of have the trees getting in the way. But if you go full left side, then yeah, it's pretty easy to control 2 points. Necrotex felt pretty good, by the way. Van Braces of the Sun. So on chariots, they're almost guaranteed to hit because of the charge bonus. Then they apply the mega debuff and they continue to hit. So it's kind of like they're at 52 melee attack, 28 melee defense. Kind of. Very kind of. But, you know, in a vacuum, if everything works well, it's pretty good. I might also want to think about sepulchral stalkers, but for now we continue to learn. Next opponent, Pasha. Yo yo. All right, from Clan VM. I have not spoken to them before though. They don't have a faction selected. I'm Tomb Kings. The map is Eastern Isle Colony, which is pretty good for me because it has home points. This army kind of just wants to army wipe your opponent. It's basically like a full value trading. Meet you in Norsca is strong. Yeah, I feel like I just didn't pilot the build as effectively as I could have. But they didn't really have any big misplays that I could capitalize on. And their point play was really good. Stealing the capture point from me really made things awkward. Why not use the Ushapti summon? I already did. I used it basically right away on the javelins. I think that was a misplay though, because the javelins routed off so quickly to my cavalry. Had I saved it for a more impactful fight, we could have won. Because obviously my army was larger, I just needed a bit more time. But all right, what are they gonna do? What's the strat, Pasha? Who are you playing? It's one of Tomb King's only bad matchups. I wonder why Norsca is so good versus Tomb Kings. Because Tomb Kings feel pretty good into chaos. I guess Norsca have the javelins. The javelins felt pretty annoying there, but they were shut down pretty fast. I noticed Skin Wolves are better than Hellstriders at fighting the endless horde of horsemen. You kind of need a big monster to push the Skin Wolves away, so there's a little bit of that. Big Sphinx is not as good into Norsca. You think if I replace it with a anti-large Sphinx, it'd be better? It's only a 50 gold difference. That's kind of crazy. It's pretty interesting. Though both of my single entities did do a lot of damage. They did get quite the stupendous amount of value. I'm gonna play against his Norsca. Obviously, we just lost to Norsca. We did just lose to Norsca, but I really want to just stress test the build. I think actually I might shuffle some things around though. But yeah, I'm okay trying another go at Norsca. Let's see what they can do. Brings the exact same build, I lose again. But ooh, actually I can do this. Okay, updated build versus Norsca. This should be pretty nasty. Javelins and throwing axes. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Anticity versus Norsca rematch. Can we get it done? If I win this one and the next one, I should still be able to qualify for top 4. We don't have a crazy amount of signups today, but we got Michu, we got Berserker, Chosen over here. A lot of scary names, but should be okay. Revenge! That's true, they have a lot of spells. Cheap. They have Wolfric's Boat, they have Burning Head. Just a bunch of chaff clear. Look at this though. So I've doubled down. We've gone for the double chonker. And the idea here is simple. Very simple indeed. Punch them in the face with these guys. Ready, good luck, have fun. If I can just farm a ton of value off these, we're good. As long as I don't get jumped by the javelins, I'll be okay. I do still have Chosen of the Gods in reserve if I need to, but mostly we have a bunch yeah, I think I'll be using Sandstorm for the javelins and then just slipping through with the cavalry. Now if they play a super tight formation, the Ushabti should be much better. But I imagine we'll be facing something a little bit more wide. We have 13 units. Extended roster carrion. Just suddenly allow bonus units. Alright, what we got? 5, 4, 5. 5. We have 3 units that I cannot see. Some skin wolves, some javelins, some bearmen. Very standard. Nothing that crazy, right? This is normal Norsca through and through. So just gonna get up big monsters. Then I'm going to use my horsemen here, and they're going to bully all of this stuff. Just bully the javelins, essentially. They don't have that much life. It's quite similar to cavalry levels of HP. So that does give me a good amount of hope. He summons in Marauder Horsemen, which is, I think, pretty good for me. Then the big monsters, now that he's pulled back, they can definitely get some work done. So this is the play. Let's see how it does. Double big monster. We're gonna threaten a little bit of a charge here. Kotep got the dodges. Gonna get a little bit of chip damage in. A little bit of dodging on these guys. Let's see how much damage they take. Not much, but they're also not dealing a ton of damage. And now they're starting to take a little bit. A little bit of a misplay on my end. I think we gotta back them up. Summon in the Necrotex. Yeah, I guess the javelins are something that Chaos doesn't have. Makes life a little bit more difficult. But we've gotten a decent amount of chip damage in. Gonna bully the horsemen a little bit. These guys heal, so it doesn't matter if I take a little bit of heat on them. The javelins are getting bullied. Necrotech can definitely support this far side. It's all about holding on to a point and not letting go. So I'm actually gonna full rotate over here. Just gonna fully rotate. make sure we do not lose this point. And then if I can fully wipe out this force, I should have such a big advantage after that that it's basically over for my opponent. Necrotech got that heal coming in soon too. And yeah, you can see just not enough here for my dear old opponent to take this, right? Necrotech can almost get that heal off. Very good. Start moving some cavalry around. The monsters are cooking. Will he get the point though? Barely not. Oh, and he gets it. Slight misplay on my end.
Captured one of your victory points. Take it back.
It's not the end of the world though. I should be able to get it back very quickly. We still have this one. Let's go over here. Let's bring in the monsters. Then let's bully some skin wolves. He gets a pretty nasty boat on my poor horsies, but we're still generally speaking okay. Skin wolves again bullied. Just need to de-blob my guys a little bit. Ouch. That was a pretty nasty volley. I have a lot of heals, but we still don't want to take damage frivolously. Okay, should be able to jump the javelins though. He's gone very horseman heavy, which I think is good for me. Like obviously it's here to tech against my big boys, but once I just start jumping them with a million cavalry, that's just gonna hurt, right? See, he's pushing onto that point, and we don't care about that. I actually want to just hold on to this one point and enjoy the benefits of that. As long as we hold on to this one, he's not going to be able to get enough tickets. And then victory shall be mine. He chucks out a final transmutation. We're going to split seize our dudes so that the transmutation is not as painful as it could be. I think we may lose a Necrotech, but I think it's not too bad. That's a big old route. And you can see by spamming so much mobility, it kind of feels like his forces are a little weak sauce. I just need another Necrotech. Just get another Necrotech and we'll be okay. But vast swaths of mobility on the Tomb King side, looking pretty solid. I can split my forces to escort these guys off the battlefield. That's a huge route, ain't it? That's a fat route. Just gotta keep pulling around and make sure we don't lose this point. First and foremost, I cannot afford to lose this point. Okay, there we go. And we still got it. So now I just gotta value trade them. Get all of the horsemen in here. This is a good spot for an Ushapti summon because he's kind of committed to this fight. Gonna cast some magics over there. Just keep running away. And just never give this up. And I just have to trust the process. Trust that I will have enough time. If this battle does go long enough. Gotta run with the Kotep. Yeah, sure, why not? Why not just get more horses? See, Wulfric's a little worried. Now, technically, value trading says it's atrocious for me, but you gotta factor in the heals that we're getting here. The heals are through the roof. There go his horsemen, very nice. Monster squad going hard. All right, nice. Very nice. I might even be able to bully this caster a little bit. But yeah, the value trading, you can't trust it. I think we are in a good position. Either that or my ability to read the game is absolutely atrocious. But this feels like we are getting some good work done. Wolfric's about to get the beat down of his life, by the way. There ain't no way. Wait, no, that's not Wolfric. That's just a Marauder unit. Whoops. My bad. I thought he was stuck in there. It's all good. All right. That's pretty good. So we bulldozed through that section. And I still have a Necrotect, and we have more heals. We're gonna bully them. There we go. Debuff them with the Necrotect. Oh, we have some Skin Wolves showing up, so we retreat. Okay. Yeah, just keep running. And I think what we do here is I start spamming cavalry. Accidentally selected the wrong point, so they're going to be a little late, but they can definitely secure me a second point. And once I get that second point, we're set. Ain't nothing he can do, man. I got too much chunk. Look at these guys, man. Glorious. Wolfric's just doing his best trying to steal this point. I think this build does better when the capture points are quite close. At least that's how it feels. Got the Skin Wolves on the run. Ain't no escape. He's just fully running away with them. All right, it's fine. I'll just get the second point. We win on 2 points. So obviously the big monsters can get in there now. I'll have yet another heal very soon. Do I want the Hekaran warriors? I don't think it's super needed. But yeah, he's pretty screwed now. I just have to make sure the value trading doesn't fall out of my hands. It should be very hard for him to secure multiple points with how his army is. Still kind of a close game though. We have more Skin Wolves over here, but as long as I take every fight with Necrotechs, I think he's screwed. I just need, yeah, yet more mobility. Oh, gotta check that out. More mobility is here. And we bring in the big monster. There we go. And I'll save the Skull Storm, since these guys are all obviously already clobbering this area. We'll save the heal too, because I only have the one left. But soon I'll be able to capture yet another point. Yeah, dude, he just can't fight this. It's just too much. They're just way too chonky. I think it is finally time to go for this point. Gets a final transmutation, but that is a clean disengage. And then the poor caster. Poor caster, yeah. You've drawn his attention. I don't think he appreciates being final transmuted. Okay, and then he's gonna go for this point, maybe? I don't have to rush for this one. That's the thing, right? This is definitely all about having very, you know, cost-effective battles. And just focusing on slow burning your opponent. You know, if you get hasty and you go for multiple points and you start down trading, that's when life gets a little bit more sketchy. That guy's taking a bit of deeps. I will say this guy's playing pretty well. There you go, there's the heal. Routed off some Skin Wolves in the distance. Very nice. Does this guy kill Wolfric though? Looks like Wolfric's not having a good time. We like to see that. Just gotta sick him on to him. Over here, you can see just a couple horsemen. Yeah, it seems like Marauder horsemen are really bad against this composition, which is weird. My natural inclination would be to take horsemen if I saw a bunch of these sphinxes. But then you don't have a fighty enough army. It seems like the mass infantry style did a little better. There's Wolfric though, he's getting pushed around. He's done for, man. Nice. Skullstorm on the blob. This one.
One of your units has been
I guess that would make the most sense. This one's pretty well secured though. Hey, there we go. I knew I'd get a money Skullstorm eventually. Oh, poor Wolfric. He dead.
glorious.
Hey, and a rear charge. And I don't even think he can get this point. I think he's just straight up triple capped. So yeah, this build is all about value trading. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, just straight up, you just raw value trade, and they will die. Double Necrotect and Sphinxes, right? There's not a whole lot that can be done here. And even Norsca, apparently one of the stronger factions versus Tomb Kings, does bleed against them. I have infinity more units of cavalry here. He's never going to secure another point for the rest of the game. And the game is won. Very nice. Yeah, got some good Darudes. 1700 on COD tap. He's way cheaper than that. Plus the spells. I guess I chucked out a few damage spells. Very nice. Not bad. So yeah, this one didn't get as many hits off. It kind of just got shot by javelins. But the Bearman Tide does bleed. Axe throwers were okay, but they could not secure points. Necrotechs. I do like the Necrotech Chariot strats. And I could have summoned Ushabti Greatbow to kill off his horsemen. After we saw the first horseman, I could have done it, as they bully them pretty hard. Revenge! Glorious, glorious revenge. Kind of nice. Tomb Kings don't feel super oppressive though. They just feel strong with this. Being able to actually fight single entity duels is good. And you really make up for the typical weakness. Like Nurgle can't go mass single entities because they don't have capture weight. And we got Razak. Nice. I don't know if they... I think it was Renataki in chat earlier. Was it Razak? I'm not sure. I think Razak might have been in chat earlier. So this should be a fun one. Changer's Madhouse. Alright. I'm Tomb Kings. And what will you be countering me with? This is a giant map, which can be more awkward for the big single entities, but better for the horsemen. It's a little weird that way. It's how I beat Zarix when they were playing Tomb Kings against my Chaos. I just captured all the points. But I feel like with so many horse archers, you don't have to worry about it that much. I'm on the battlefield. Yeah, reporting live. You know, this new green screen thing is kind of hype. Though I think the one that I'm using right now seems to use a stupid amount of GPU. Yeah, it's like eating up my GPU like no one's business. So I might need to look for a separate app. Might look for a separate app. It's a little awkward though, because my background's gonna change a lot. No GPU issues today. It's still eating up a lot of GPU. It's just not lagging my game. Yeah, you can take a million different horses. So you have normal skeleton horsemen, which is a weak variant. Nahakara horsemen, your mid tier. And then horse archers, letting you take 12 units of very fast capture weight on the cheap. Khorne, Dark Elves, and the Vampire Coast. I'll play versus Khorne. I think Vampire Coast is actually really good versus Tomb Kings. Maybe not on a map like this, but definitely they can be a little scary. This should be fun. I don't think I need the Lich Staff if I'm playing versus Khorne. That seems a little bit, it's a little bit excessive. Ah, hell yeah. That's a perfect spend right there, more or less. Khorne, they got their doggos. Honestly, a no infantry Tomb Kings versus these melee factions is probably not the worst. Especially on a map this big. I could probably tussle with Khorne. I gotta build. Let's get a dedicated green screen. It would be annoying to set up and take down all the time. I think as long as their background doesn't change much, a green screen app should work okay. Isn't this matchup also a bit difficult for Tomb Kings? The thing is, I'm pretty sure the meta is shifting. This big single entity Tomb Kings playstyle seems really good. It's weakest versus factions that have good counters to horsemen. So I don't know if flesh hounds are going to be a problem here. But the counter to the horsemen, they also have to survive stuff like Ushapti great bows and Sepulchral stalkers. So I don't know. I think this style is pretty tight. With Norsca, it's a little different because the ice wolves do pretty well, but if you can just get a little bit of damage on them first, it works out. Is it just chariots? Not just chariots. I actually barely have any chariots, just my Necrotex. Green screen today, green skins tomorrow. Dangler, I can't believe it. How did I not see that coming? That composition is probably bad versus Wood Elves. Yeah, so I wouldn't do this versus like an elf faction, but Tomb Kings are already just really good versus elves. They spam Screaming Skull catapults, and then low HP infantry go whoosh. Screaming Skull catapults are super high DPS, very annoying to take out if you're an elf player. I will say it is quite unfortunate. Skaven. Yeah, Skaven versus Tomb Kings. You're just writing down factions that Tomb Kings counter now. At least traditionally counter. Honestly, they seem like a pretty good faction. They have cheap caster lords, strong monsters, pretty good mobility. I would say heavily armored cavalry beat my cavalry, but then you have your monsters. You need like a heavily armored cav faction that kites. With infantry, I guess, because Ushapti would kill something like war wagons. I could see if someone dodges exquisitely against my Ushapti, life would be a bit harder. But yeah. Double Bloodthirster. I welcome Double Bloodthirster. My Sphinxes are so good. Would be so good versus that. What matchups aren't difficult for Tomb Kings? Like a lot of them. I think Tomb Kings really just suffer versus... Like if I had to counter Tomb Kings... If I had to counter Tomb Kings... You know... Going for like a ranged heavy faction is probably not as bad nowadays. Mostly because their infantry aren't as good at holding points anymore. So you're not going to get super locked down on the capture points. Maybe Chaos Dwarves. Chaos Dwarves could be really good versus Tomb Kings. Unless there's a tech that I'm missing. But maybe their Ushapti Great Bows are good, but I think a faction with good artillery, they could be really problematic. Like a Death Shriek would be so annoying for this build. I don't know what I would do. I would need a completely different build. Maybe like a melee Shopti Maxon. One can dream. If CA ever buff Bloodthirsters, that would blow my mind. Maybe when 40k comes out. Yeah, Empire might be really good versus Tomb Kings. So it's Chosen of the Gods though, but like you can get some cannons, blast the Chosen of the Gods. On a high terrain map though, I could totally see Tomb Kings being really annoying. Double Slaughter Brute. Been a while since I heard of that. Excited for this one though. This one feels like a good one. I'm gonna get to test my might against Khorne. So take a look-see. We have my skirms. They're going to take this point really quickly. I'm gonna use Cod Tap to take this one, and then we support them. Ready? Good luck, have fun. Now, obviously, you can see there's 6 units for Khorne. That tells me something, right? That tells me we should put our thinking cap on. Because it's probably a full skirmish build. There's the sirens, by the way, for anyone who missed the sirens. It's like we barely moved. But yeah, if it's a bunch of SEs, I got these guys. We got our horseman spam. He can't kill these. There's no world where Khorne wins a single entity fight. This is too chonky. In lore, they're supposed to be insanely strong. Yeah. That's how it be though, right? You end up just being the thing that people kill to prove that they're stronger. Mino great weapons. We got some bloodhounds. We got Arbal. Alright. Nothing too crazy, right? It's just a bunch of dudes he's dodging. Best not waste my ammunition. So this is definitely a Chosen of the Gods type situation. Get them going, they'll do great. They can bully the Minotaurs for sure. We're just gonna play it nice and safe. No need to get crazy. This is a value trading build. First and foremost, we're looking for the value. So here he comes. He's gonna take a pot shot at my cavalry, maybe. I'm using my hills here to my advantage. Here come the Chosen of the Gods. And that's gonna be really annoying. This Khorne just doesn't really have the mobility. Nice. Get hilled, son. Mega hilled. Got a little bit of a volley on them. Got a little bit of a volley on this. Life's good. 59 value to 9. Huge. And then we're just gonna keep parking on the far side of the hill. We're gonna enjoy the fact that they're not getting a lot of tickets. This build doesn't require tickets, it just needs the opponent to not get a lot. Sila and Fingrim coming in hot. Oh, is that a shot incoming? Use the hill. The power of the hill. What do you want? You want to rampage, my guys? This guy have magic attacks? They all have magic attacks. My kit could be slightly better, but you know what? It's fine. It's okay. Minotaurs are dying right now. We're doing good. And here he comes for this fight. Don't know if he wants to stick around for this. Because he doesn't have the Minotaurs. No Minotaurs is real bad. Nets me. Nets down the Cod Tap. He's going in with the R-ball. Fine by me, honestly. We're going to counter the Furies with more cavalry. And as soon as Cod Tap starts moving again, we're good. Double Sphinx hurts a lot. Let's just maneuver our Ushapti a little better. We're just gonna go over here. Cod Tap can move again. And he's a slippery little dude. This is not the strongest fighting force in the world. Kotab lives. It's a bad sign for my opponent. So now what's he gonna do? These big sphinxes, man, they do not joke around. They are positively brutal to fight. We're gonna buff this one even more, give him more melee attack to make him yet more indestructible. Then as the Ushapti escape, they can shoot at them. And then as long as you live, we're happy. Karnak is gonna be going for it. And he gets body blocked. Playing a little bit of football. Dude, nothing can kill the double sphinx, I'm telling you guys right now. Double sphinx takes them to Pound Town so hard, bro. Jeez Louise, this is a massacre. He's 4k down. Jeez. Arball the absolutely crumped. Minotaurs have made it to the party, but I don't believe there'll be enough. Arball's been obliterated. He won't even live to see Khorne at this rate. Dude, yeah, nah, this is kind of good. I don't know about you guys. Khorne felt positively powerless in this situation. Sure, there were a few misplays. Minotaurs weren't able to get into the fight, so they took that engagement a little too early. But that's it, man. That's seriously it. That's disgusting. GG, well played. That's another win under the belt. It's kind of a good build. It's kind of a sick build. Full HP, 2k value each. Dang, man. Kind of had to take a fight because he would just get out skirmished. Tomb Kings, generally, they can win the skirmish fight. Right? So if Tomb Kings can win the skirmish fight, then you have to go very fighty. But this build is going to win the fighty fight. The only way you can beat it is with something like a javelin unit. You need some infantry ranged to be able to punch through this. To go for the single entities, you're just not gonna get it done. Obviously, some of these units were not super great at fighting. The Furies, they actually did pretty well, but the Furies and the Hellforge Bellows are not super amazing fighters. And all of these guys got just hard countered. Nice. Quick one. Feel bad for my opponent. It felt oppressive. Maybe we should ban the Doom Kings. No. Will Arball keep his undefeated status? No. Sphinxes are what we hoped the Charybdis would be. Yeah. I'm surprised we haven't seen more of these guys in the meta. They're kind of insane. Dude, the hill, though. That terrain usage was so brutal. It's kind of nice. Yeah, I should just like start playing Tomb Kings more often. They seem very consistent. I wonder, like, you know, it feels like the ball is in my court. I'm the one that decides if I win or not, based off my micro. Because we're winning, and it still feels like there's a high ceiling. Which means if I was to play against like Zarix or something, we could still get the dub. Or at least have a relatively close game if they were playing like Chaos against Tomb Kings. Kind of expensive? Yeah. That's why we have the Horseman spam. They're my capture weight. This build doesn't work without Horsemen. You actually cannot take back points with Skeletons. It's way too expensive because they have 2 capture weight each. That's like trying to capture a point with like a warrior of chaos, right? 1 warrior of chaos. That's just so inefficient. If you do want to take points with infantry, though, you do have Nahakar warriors, but they're still kind of expensive, still pretty slow, same speed actually, and not a lot of HP. So they're not gonna hold the point. You actually just have to army wipe them and then spam skelly horses. should have gone for the Bloodthirsters. It would be pretty funny. How expensive are Bloodthirsters? Obviously too expensive, but wow, they're the same price. Wait just a second. A Bloodthirster compared to this guy. They're actually the same price, but the Bloodthirster, technically its stats, the Necrosphinx stats are slightly worse. But it has 1,200 more HP, bro. Bloodthirster has the same bonus versus large. It might just be animations. Bloodthirster almost looks comparable. I think the HP difference is a bit much, though. Less HP, less armor means he's going to get shot up. Gonna get mega shot up. Yeah, it's animations. Animations is the best stat you can have. Tournament's going pretty smoothly, by the way. So it looks like Michael, myself, Berserker, maybe Flower QQ. I don't know who they are, but they've won 2 games with Dark Elves. Kind of terrifying. Azek is trying to get into top 4. Weirdly enough, Chosen is lagging behind. It appears they lost 2 games in a row. Did Berserk like just massacre Chosen? Something happened. Chosen is usually one of the best players out there, but I've noticed Berserker is really getting a lot better lately. Sphinxes can't chase down gyros and balloons. It's hilarious you think Bloodthirsters can. If I was going a max Dowie Air Force and I saw a Bloodthirster, I would be so happy. Insta win. No healing for the Bloodthirster too. Oh yeah. If Bloodthirsters had Necrotex, maybe. I think they would actually maybe be taken more often. But yeah, big SEs without healing is always a little rough. I'll probably be facing the winner of Flower QQ and Azek. Those matches are pretty close. Maybe Chosen. I don't know. There's a few people I might face. Doesn't the ROR have Gore Feast? Yeah, but like Gore Feast is not the same as proper healing. Tomb King's DLC coming. Oh yeah. If are they getting units with what's his face? Nagash? I've been so out of the loop with the whole move out thing. But I would be pretty hyped to see some mix-ups. Honestly, Tomb Kings, Coast, Vampire counts, they all could use a little bit of love. Kemric Titan. I think they hate Nagash. Yeah, but like there's a whole thing of like, didn't you see in the trailer Nagash was like catching them like Pokemon? Flower, Pasha, and this isn't a land battle tourney. Yeah, I think they're starting to dabble in domination. Maybe they've done so well in land battle that they've become bored with their pond and they've skipped to the next. You just want tigers for Cathay. Please, Cathay needs fast infantry so badly. If you just took the Cathay roster, right? And you gave them some sort of fast infantry. So look at this. 30 speed on the peasants. But yeah, they're stuck at 28. Nurgle has faster infantry than Cathay, okay? They're basically the same speed as Plague Bearers. So imagine Nurgle, but you can only take Plague Bearers and Chaos Warriors. If you just slam dunk like a Berserker, Marauder Berserker into the Cathay roster, suddenly they can actually take points. It'd be glorious. Oh, I'm up against Flower QQ. Okay. Yo, yo. All right. Face me, my dude. I'm Tomb Kings. And they are playing the Dark Elves on Proving Grounds. Interesting. So, I don't know if this Monster Mash build is as good into Dark Elves. My instincts say no, but I don't know, maybe. Maybe. What if I just go the same build? What if I just went the same build? What are they gonna do, right? They ain't got nothing on this. I just need oh boy, the same build temptation is very strong, guys. It is very strong. Money spending is very tight. I think I can finagle it though. The Lich Staff is cool. Increased cooldowns 15 seconds. I guess with Dark Elves, there are some builds that would actually, that really rely on their cooldowns. So maybe I do want that. Okay, now what though? It's awkward spending your monies as the Doom Kings. This is good enough though. Dark Elves ain't got nothing on this. One of these for sure. Oh, so many cool units. Honestly, I haven't played Tomb Kings enough. I kind of wrote them off after their infantry got nerfed in the capture weight department. But no, they definitely still tussle. And they also have some pretty mean mobility builds, which is like right up my alley, right? It's great. Okay, then what do I want? I could take one of these. I don't think that's very needed though. Maybe okay, yeah, sure. All right, face me, Dark Elves. Scourge runners could bother the SCs. They could. Do they have enough ammunition to kill them? I don't know. "15-second cooldown on Witch Brew" sounds funny. Yeah, that's just like, oh, I can't drink it, not now. Although if you think about it, if it's a silence effect, literally sealing your mouth shut, kind of horrifying, but that would actually prevent you from drinking Witch Brew. Khorne's abilities though, I don't know. The ones where they just hit harder, maybe they need to scream really loudly to hit harder to activate those abilities. Foe Seeker, right? You also have to scream, I guess. Is there anyone in the Warhammer universe that can't talk but can use Foe Seeker? Because then that doesn't make sense for the silence. Although grunting, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. This goes well. Scylla and Fingrim, they can't talk. Kotet works on the worm. Yeah, it works on the worm. That one makes the least sense. Although maybe the worm needs to eat through the dirt to burrow. Interesting. Hey, come on, let's do it. Reduces cooldowns by 30 seconds. Yo, I've seen some land battle stuff. They actually banned double nullstone At least I think this is Renataki's tournaments. Does anyone know if double nullstone is good in multiplayer land battle? I guess screaming does lend more power. It's true. If you actually watch athletes, tennis is very funny. You do need to scream most of the time. So silence effects somehow stop you from doing that. It's still weird though that the Dreadmaw loses the ability to move. Is it screaming while it burrows? Just constant screaming? Tennis culture is ridiculous. I haven't watched a lot of tennis, so I wouldn't be able to say much. Don't get me started. All right, all right. Hey, what's this guy gonna do though? Generally speaking, Tomb King should be pretty strong into Dark Elves, but who knows? Maybe they have some crazy strats. Hellebrown. Hellebrown can be pretty scary. What else? You have Medusa? I don't think Medusas would be good here, because they can't take space against my Sphinxes. But they can definitely push my cavalry back, which would be annoying. There's the mass infantry strats, which hasn't fared super well generally, but I could totally see it. Oceanids with Chariot Kite and Sea Elemental with Dragon Prince makes a hard box to break. Oceanid Sea Elemental box. Doesn't like any faction with shooting tear that apart. Unless we're talking about melee factions. High Elves have been doing better versus Khorne because of Oceanids. Man, so many matchups to learn. I still feel so out of practice. You really need to be grinding a lot if you want to be proficient with all factions. Double Hydra. Dude, I would love to put the Hydras up against my Sphinxes. Just to see the massacre. I imagine they're not cutting off heads. I think they're just splitting the whole body in half. Yo, are there any Hydras in mythology? Because Hydras IRL, you can cut them in half and you get 2 Hydras. Unfortunately, they are microscopic, but it's still pretty cool. Oh, with null stones in land battle. I see. Can't you still shoot that to death, though? I guess it could be abusive versus factions without a lot of shooting. And probably with healing, you would need quite a disgusting amount of shooting to actually break it. I could see that being, yeah, I could see that being pretty annoying. Yeah. Dark Elf time, though. Hydra IRL? No, the microscopic Hydra. It is, it's real mini. It's just a little dude. But, yeah, they got like a bunch of tentacles. They're pretty hype. Alright, 14 units. Did I learn my lesson? I think I still want to push middle, but then quickly transition to one of the points. Ready, good luck, have fun. This map is very GPU heavy, by the way. I can feel it because my camera doesn't scroll around as much. A little unfortunate. I'm a poor graphics card, man. Graphics card is ticking one for the team. I'm at 88% GPU. Is that high? Despite that, Warhammer is only taking up 37% of it. Yeah, my green screen is eating up so much. I imagine it's AI powered. AI is very inefficient when it comes to power usage. But I just needed something quick. I'm hoping it can tide me over until I find something a little bit more effective. That's high. Time for a 1590. When in doubt, more power. All right, what we got? Some Scourge Runners, nothing too crazy. Game's still running, that's all that matters to me. We got our Karth, okay. And he's gonna be going for this point, so I'm gonna go here and just defend. Alright, so let's see how these Ushapti do. He's gonna see that coming miles away. I'm just gonna assume my opponent is good at managing their stuff. Only one Scourge Runner though is really not a big problem. I'm not targeting him, so you might not see the shots come out. Oof, we're Karth. Looking a little rough there, my dude. Now he's dodging. But my Ushapti have already done a good amount of damage. Very nice. Now, given that he doesn't seem very rush heavy with this build, I think we can get some good work done. Gonna do this. Give him a little bit of Fizz Res. Oh my gosh, the Sphinxes. Almost caught the Scourge Runners. That would have been hilarious. But not quite. And there's a million Dark Shards. Alright. So overall, a decent little tussle. Dark Shards are going to be quite annoying. The mass infantry here against this build is typically what's going to be causing us issues. But I really wonder how he's going to deal with this. If it's, yeah. Oh, we're just going to attrit him. We're just going to have a long game of attrition. Let's heal him up. Keep pounding to him. What's he doing? What are you planning? So you want to get into melee? It's kind of hard to say. At close range, my Ushapti are quite nasty. So those Scourge Runners aren't doing super well, are they? But Karth is not looking too pretty either. So I don't know how this is going. I'd say it's going just okay. It's not the best situation in the world. It's also not the worst. Finally, we get a pretty solid hit on him, though. And now what do you do? Your chariots are bloodied. Whoopsie daisies. Pod tap taking a bit of heat on. A little bit unfortunate, but we're still fine. Necrotect has arrived to debuff the master. He gives a pretty hefty debuff. So I think I'm okay just kind of sitting there and staying in that fight. Over Karth wants to net me. I see. Well, can't let that happen, that's for sure. And the master gets stomped pretty hard by my single entities. Overall, though, capture point is being taken by the Dark Elves. Gotta be a little careful. My Ushapti are still alive, though, thankfully. We're going to actually heal them up a little bit more, just so I can keep the model count high. And we're just gonna keep pummeling them. I'm hoping that the artillery here can slowly win it for me. But it is by far no guarantee. My overall DPS is not extremely high. I will be able to stop him from stealing this point, though, which is exactly what we want. Ushapti are still alive. Good, good. And they're going to be able to continue bullying him. Now, if he missteps and Karth gets murdered, that would be perfect. Crows of Cain, most definitely we can just jump on with the cavalry. That's a pretty good pickup, actually. And we got some Dark Riders. Hell yeah. Not bad, actually. Value trading wise, I'm doing good. The Screaming Skull Catapult was a magnificent idea. A couple Cold One Knights are actually pretty bad in this situation, because they're stuck in the trees, and I'm going to be killing them with magic. There they go. So that's going to be real nasty for him. And as long as I hold this point, I'm good. That's all this match is about. Just hold on to the points. Or hold on to 1 point and just slowly value trade. I have all the time in the world, man. I have all the time in the world. And as long as I play patiently, we're good. Point is secured. Very nice. All right. Oh, this is kind of a crazy play. He's going for it. So he's seen that my big single entities are away, and he's decided to dive in with Rakarth, but I don't know how well that will go for him. Rakarth on a chariot is not exactly a beast, and this could very well just be the end of him. Look at the infantry dancing in the distance, though. Pretty funny. We're gonna have another spell very soon. This is really good. It's basically as efficient as a Melkoth's. Ouch. Burning Head, kind of brutal. Slight misplay there on my end, but I don't think that's gonna end the game by any means. And now he's forced to push. Going quite aggressive. He really doesn't want to lose good old Rakarth here. But now they're extremely out of position. So my horse cavalry here can just go on in and get them. I have the big monsters. No more heals though, but I think we're still doing just fine. And once Rakarth goes down, that's basically the end of him. And there's the collapse. Couple of these guys, not too problematic, are they? There's the Dark Elf passive, though, which is very good for my opponent. Ticket-wise, we're still very comfortable, though. But I did manage to rout off Rakarth, which may just be the deal breaker here. Lot of guys are dying. A lot of infantry. Gonna have a nice little skull storm over there. Just gotta finish off Rakarth. I will say the passive triggered at the perfect time. My opponent did pick a very solid time to actually attack into me. But I still wonder if it shall be enough. Those Cold One Knights are getting pummeled. And now I have my passive. Army abilities abound. I believe Rakarth just died too. But yeah, what I really want now is to just set up a mosh pit and then summon the Ushapti right on top of them. These witch elves look good enough for me. Definitely just gonna bully them. Get the big Sphinx here, and now it's all about actually securing the points in time. Now he did kill off my Ushapti eventually, but that ended up being decently slow. And what's gonna happen here in the late game is I'm just going to start re-securing points with my boys, and then he's gonna be dead. Honestly, a little close. If you know, if Rakarth didn't get caught out there, I could totally see things going badly for me. This is gonna be really hard to defend though. 2 units of cavalry in the distance. Yeah, I think it would have been I think it could have been a little closer. Oh boy, this is just brutal though. Absolute brutality. Rip Rakarth, value trading is extremely in my favor right now. The Necrotect is just debuffing everyone. And that's gonna be GG. Very nice. Nice, that's 4-1. Tomb King's looking pretty solid. Dark Elves did not have a good answer to the Chosen of the Gods. They got mega value. Sphinxes took a lot of damage from the archers, but if you have the artillery pieces, these archers don't do well. It might even be good versus Norsca. I could totally see this just crush and face if you're facing Norsca. Because, like, what are you supposed to do? You're getting hammered by artillery all game. You can't fight them. It's just pain and suffering all around. You're getting skirmished. They're healing. Tomb King's is generating infinite value. That's pretty solid. And that's gonna send us straight into the top 4. I am number 1. Berserk is number 2. Michael, Michu, is number 3. Flower QQ is number 4, but we gotta wait on Razak and Chosen to finish their match. And Ponty and Ty L. Though, no, their match doesn't matter. So it's just Mr. Razak and Chosen that gotta finish up. Isn't it better to shoot a normal high entity unit with the Ushapti bows than have them shoot a character that can zigzag? Yes. It's just most of the higher entity units were too far, or they were infantry. So infantry is guaranteed value, but it's so low. If your Ushapti shoot infantry all game, they won't pay for themselves. That game seemed a little... It was high micro enough where my opponent was going to make a few mistakes. And especially at mid-range, unless you're just the dodge master and you can maneuver your whole army and dodge with the single entities perfectly at mid-range, you're probably going to take damage. Like, yeah, it's very hard to dodge. At max range, it's pretty easy with single entities, but... Yeah, as long as there's like a little bit of pressure and a little bit of complexity everywhere, you can get a lot more value. But you have to be really careful. It's all about toggling the fire at will on and off and retargeting to make sure that you're not wasting as many shots. Sent them right back to land battle. Are they a super high tier land battle player? Based off of their micro, it seemed like they were playing pretty well. Like, rough estimation of the capabilities, they seem like a pretty solid mid-tier player. Or like mid to high player. I wouldn't put them on the same tier as like Chosen or Berserk, but pretty scary. My favorite chef, what are we cooking today? I'm just following someone else's recipe. It's just someone else's build. I'm really liking the double Sphinx though. Double Sphinx into like, I think the end point of this build looks something like this. Here, 2 units of infantry. This is close to where I see the build going. You have some artillery. You have a super fighty force. Mobile. And like this just solves everything that beats the Sphinxes. I really don't know what you're supposed to do when you have Screaming Skull catapults just pummeling your infantry. Disgusting needs more cavalry. I see, I went the wrong direction, my bad. I think the variant where I don't use the Lich's Staff with the Kodtep, I can do something like this. Get a little bit more cavalry in. Does this feel better to you? Feels better to me. Though I will say that 1 unit of infantry gets a lot of work done when you're being rushed down. But yeah, you win by kiting. That's this stuff, and then you win by fighting. So as long as you can force a fight with all your ranged firepower, it's pretty good. Chosen of the Gods feel a little weird though. If they were lead belchers, if the Chosen of the Gods were lead belchers, Tomb Kings would immediately be the best faction in the game. Lead belchers defended by these guys, oh my goodness. I don't know what you're supposed to do. I guess artillery. Artillery's the final end game of stuff that can beat this. Just play ogres. Man. Yo, replacing Noblars with skeleton spearmen. Jeez. Ogres that don't route. Man, what a strong faction that would be. Obviously, they're balanced around how they route. It's always fun to think of the combo factions and how strong they'd be. It's kind of like 2v2s. Just play 2v2 with lead belchers. They are pretty good in 2v2s, yeah. First campaign, you played ogres. First multiplayer faction, you played ogres. Hell yeah. Could not normal cannons just blasted catapults and sphinxes? Yeah. I think cannon factions and chaos dwarves. So I don't know if Empire has the infantry clearing capabilities to beat Tomb Kings. But from what I've experienced, it seems like cannon factions should be good enough now. The Tomb King's infantry are not that strong anymore. And they generally feel like a pretty weak rush faction. So I could totally see like Empire doing pretty decently. Dwarves, if they weren't so bad in domination. Grand Cathay is probably really annoying for Tomb Kings to deal with. Because at the end of the day, they're just going to have some cannons, and your artillery's just going to die. So while we wait... My opponent's asking to get a rematch. We're not doing anything right now. Still waiting for the semi-finals to begin. So we can load into a game. Empire can clear if you keep your cannon safe from a dive. Oh yeah, outrider grenade launchers, true. Plus Empire Knights. Empire Knights dumpster Tomb King's cavalry. There's there's not a whole lot you can do there. Yes, you do have some nifty spells, but yeah. Yeah, that's a little rough. I've yet to play it though. I'm so used to undead factions being insanely annoying for Empire, but they also do well versus Vampire Coast, I guess. And I think Empire is actually not bad versus Vampire counts. It's a fairly evenish matchup last I checked, though Karen Wraiths mix things up. But if you can get over the Karen Wraiths and maybe just run a Volkmar or something, pretty sure Empire does well there too. I'm not entirely sure though. Karen Wraiths are kind of scary. You have to run Flaming Sword versus Undead now. What a shame. Oh boy. Alright, he wants a different map. Flower. They're cooking up a build. I wonder how they would counter a build like this. Having so many artillery pieces. They'll have to ready up quickly though. I think top 4 is going to be starting very soon. Mr. Razak and Evergarden, their game is 17 minutes in, yo. Although, I'm surprised the top 4 message hasn't come up yet. The way I coded the bot, I guess it's just being ultra safe. But yeah, it should be... I think even if Evergarden wins, their MMR won't get high enough to get in the top 4. So, yeah. But we'll just play this and wait until the auto message goes in. I'll need to add that to my list of things to fix though. Bot to do. All right, let's do this. Basically same build as before. Ready, good luck, have fun. I got a message. I can respond to it later. All right, let's do it. When they're ready. Cathay is easy as Tomb Kings? Really? What does Tomb Kings do against Cathay? Can't Cathay just make like a giant infantry blob? Yeah, I don't know. Can they just make a giant infantry blob? I feel like with the harmony, they're not going to rout or anything. Let's see. There's no way you're punching into their infantry lines. I'm sure there is a great solution, though. Like, Tomb Kings is a very diverse roster, but maybe you just use the big SEs. I will say, taking cannons is not a silver bullet. Unfortunately, cannons have just very low DPS. Interesting that we see one of these dudes. So fun fact about horse archers. It takes so long for scourge runners to actually kill them that it's not worth to shoot at skeleton horsemen. Interesting they targets my big single entities. I can dodge with them. We got the jukes. My horsemen are amazing. So this is already a fairly bad situation for my opponent. I would say it's yeah, actually quite bad for them. They have a little bit of infantry here, but nothing crazy. And my Skelleboys are just causing pain and suffering across the board. Gotta be a little careful here that we don't get caught by the Dark Riders. They're getting close, which will just let me shoot them up a bit though. Could even cast some magic if I wanted to, but I don't think it's very necessary. We can save up a bit. I'm just going to buff up these guys so that they take less damage from the Scourge Runner Focus Fire. Get that physical resist going. It's perfect. Then at some point I can get my artillery pieces and life will be good. Just have to be a little bit careful. I'm gonna need to really defend the artillery when we get it going. But I think if I bring it in now and wheel it up, it'll take a little too long for him to actually kill it. And that will give me another forcing tool to bully my opponent. Though they're doing real well. They're hunkering down to defend their points. Here they come. Ooh, little miss micro though. Lord got hit up pretty hard. Ushopti putting in the work. Is he gonna dodge with the Lord? No. He's still taking damage. That's very good for me. And yeah, the opportunity to jump my artillery is now disappearing. Oh, Lord is still dodging decently. He's still gonna die though, which is the rough part there. Skelly Horse Archer still doing very well. Do I want a Necrotech though? I think a Necrotech would suit me quite fine here. Interesting that we see no Cold One Knights, I must say. I wonder why. I feel like Cold One Knights would be well suited for this situation. And he is eventually gonna kill my Ushopti. But not without pretty hefty losses. I doubt they'll be able to get too much work done here either. And yeah, we'll see how the infantry do. They're getting beat up pretty bad. I can start, yeah, bullying them over there. Of course, we got the Cod Tap with the spell casting. He's ready for that. And I think we can just hammer these dudes. Value trading says it's not bad for my opponent, but it's about to get pretty nasty. With all these heals, I don't think I'll be down very hard. Unit of Dark Riders comes on in, but I'm right where he's right where I want him. A big old mosh pit here is kind of good for me. And it's a little early too, right? So the passive might not trigger for him. We'll see though. Dang, those Sphinxes are killing him real bad. Oh my goodness, what a collapse of the lines. That's pretty rough. Big ol' routes for days. And we still do not have a Dark Elf passive triggering, which basically spells doom for my opponent. The only way he wins now is via tickets. Though, admittedly, it does say the value trading is still in his favor, which is a little surprising to me. I guess because most of it is on my big Sphinxes. So let's just keep them alive and then we're good. Gonna chuck out a Doom Bolt on Cod Tap, that's fine. Gonna bully them Cold One Knights. There's the passive trigger. Let's finish off these Dark Riders over here. With the passive, they're actually going to be quite scary. And maybe my opponent does actually manage to pull back a little bit. I did lose a lot of cavalry. Though his lord dying is going to be real bad. Can he kill my big monsters though? They're healing up very well. At some point I can start stealing capture points with my stuff. I just have to be a little careful with my big monsters. This is a lot of range he's brought to bear. Cod Tap doing his best to kill this guy. It's a little sus. It's a little sus. It's not the end of the world. But I think I don't have a big advantage anymore. We have a ways to go. This will be good though. Hot Tap gonna die. Barely any way to dodge that. There he goes. So he somehow holds, but only for a second. Unfortunate. Look at him go. Big monsters again countered, even with the artillery piece, which is now dying actually. I think he's done it. I think he's done it. Lots of Scourge Runners. Whoop. Oh, I don't have a heal anymore. Dang. Lots of ranged firepower. It felt a little close though. I don't know if it's like a slam dunk win, but yeah, the build does bleed. Good to know. Good to know. I probably should have played a little more cagey. You can tell because my tickets are quite high. If I was a little bit more careful, I think we would be fine. Obviously, he's teching into a double Necro Sphinx build. If I change up my playstyle a little bit, it's going to be a lot more difficult. But this is good information because it means that we can be countered, right? Look at that. Other Necro Sphinx bites the dust. That's going to be GG. We're still waiting on Mr. Razak and Chosen, by the way. Let me message him. Chosen. Let me know when done. It's still kinda almost playable though. He doesn't have a lot actually. I still have the Necrotect here too. Ooh, that's gonna be a nasty spell though. Maybe I stick around just to see where this goes. I don't know how the Tomb King's late game plays out against us, but we're both basically completely out of stuff. The thing is, I'm pretty sure his cavalry will uptrade me. This point's gonna fall, unless a Necrotech just clutches it.
One of your units.
Yeah, my Ushapti. I kind of just let them tank. I thought the physical resist buff would save them. But yeah, I kind of just stood there and tanked the shots. I could have used my cavalry to keep them a little bit more alive. I'm interested to see what their value looks like. I will say Scourge Runner's got a killing done. GG What Blade?
You have been bested.
Yeah, let's take a look. They died with like half ammo. Yeah, that's bad. Let us take a look. 1575. So they could have gone a lot more value. Very good to know. I just fed his Scourge Runners. Okay, that's fine then. How'd Cod Tap do? Not so great. The Cod Tap snipe is pretty nasty. You have to be very careful. Necrotect is alright. Catapult didn't do that much, surprisingly. But alright, let's see if the top 4 gets decided once the score is reported. And then it should be 2 more matches and we're good to go. So they've done their match. And... okay, so top 4 is like not working. The bot should be DMing a top 4 message. But it has not. Okay. Sure. Well, I guess I'll just have to manually do it. Top 4 message from bot is not working. I'll fix it, but for now, we can manually set it up. All right, let's see here. I'll need 2 random maps. So what are we looking at? Where are the maps at? That's very unfortunate. Usually it's quite good about sending the message out. Something must have bugged, but that's okay. Alrighty. Yes, the Chosen did not have enough points. So top 4, I need 2 random maps. Let's just do this. It's gonna be Lost Temple of Sotek and Dried Floodplain. Semis map. And finals map. And it's going to be me versus Flower and Berserker versus Michael. And Michael versus Berserker. Okay. So I'm actually gonna play a proper game against him now. All right. Sure. Maybe I just go the same build and just play it better. Blasphemous Snowfield, that one's a fun one. I kind of wonder if I like actually want to be running the Chosen of the Gods. I think they're too good not to. I think they're too good not to run. I'm also just gonna quickly check my bot, try and figure out what went wrong. There should be a let's see, this thing should have an error log, right? Let me see. Yeah, it's had the top 4 for a while. Weird. I think when the top 4 message doesn't send, it must have had an error Okay, I think I know generally what's going wrong, but yeah. Try shooting into cavalry and monstrous infantry mainly. Chariots are too jank to hit consistently. They do have some pretty difficult hitboxes. I could switch to normal Ushabti if I really want to. That was pretty heavy on the cavalry. Interesting. Same build, no changes. Let's see. I think it's totally winnable against their composition, but it's definitely on the harder end because I can't make use of my Necro Sphinxes. What if I just get like triple Ushabti though? Hey, tuning in from Germany. Hello. Happy to have you here. We're trying to figure out the best way to beat this kind of heavy mobility ranged spam Dark Elves. They seem to give the build a little bit of a harder time, and just one chosen of the gods won't do it. And there's a lags between the two people. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. I'm also waiting for my opponent to message. And then I can start figuring out my build. Nice to have some infantry. Some infantry body blocking is good. I do worry about like the Dark Elf passive proccing though. I wonder if I use the Lich Staff while he's trying to cast Doombolt, will that save Kotap? It's a pretty funny strat. Could do it. Hmm. Oh, did they think? Oh my goodness. Oh boy, and it's a turbo lag fest on the other side of the bracket. What the crap? All right. Let me see. Why isn't Arcanen auto take with his summons anymore? He's a little expensive. Sorry, there's just some annoying management I gotta do. Range advantage is super good. Oh, I already read that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, how do people usually handle if it's a lag fest? Because it's so hard to tell who the lagging person is in a match. Sometimes it's just the connection is super jank. So that makes this very annoying. Ugh. It's the worst. How do I want to handle this? Yeah, apparently it's pretty bad. We'll see if they can both agree on something, and if not, we'll just have to move on. But yeah, I don't know. We can try and figure out where the lag is coming from. What a pain, though. What a mega pain. All right, let's just do this. Let's just ready up. I'm too tired for this, man. Hopefully we get a fast game, and then we can move on. Just move on with our lives. But yeah, they did finish their match eventually. And then maybe we'll get Flower versus Berserk, or me versus Berserk. Let Nagash decide a winner. Oh man. I wish there was some way you could at least tell who was lagging, but it's, I guess with peer-to-peer you actually just can't. Is there a way? I don't know. Sometimes I wish I could just have someone else do the adminning. That'd be pretty funny. Just hire someone to just admin the tournaments, but I think that would be too much work. Might as well just do it while I stream. The coin flip. That's what I proposed to them, but they finished their match. So I just need to finish this one, and then we'll go ahead with the grand finals. Hopefully it's a quick one. Khalida Shem's net. Oh yeah, Khalida Shems is actually really good compared to Kotep versus Dark Elves. It's like super annoying to deal with. I'm just gonna do this quickly though, because why not? Could a Tomb King Lord resurrect Khorne's Great Throne of Skulls? I don't think... Maybe Vampire counts, but I don't think Tomb Kings could. Also, I don't know what it would do to have a bunch of skulls that are alive. It's not like they can attack, right? They can nibble on Khorne's toes. Maybe not. Huh. Yeah, let me look at the code while we're here. Let me look at the code. So why did it not trigger the thing? Top 4 players. If the tournament is done and top 4 is decided, then you message the top floor. Top 4 playing. Let's see. So the tournament, it ticks. Live debugging. The tournament, it ticks. And then it sets the top 4 playing variable. Screaming Skull Throne Catapult, love it. Let's see. And then when does it message? Handle software matches, top 4 players. Ugh, I'll have to debug it later. What a pain. Well, anyways, for now I got my dudes. I'm just going the same build, just because I feel bad for my opponent. Let's do it. Let us do it. But yeah, apparently they thought the last match was a semi-final match. It just so happened that I think I misinterpreted what they meant. But I said pretty explicitly that it was, or at least I tried making it pretty explicit that it was a practice match. Whatever, we'll just play it out. If I win this tournament, we'll feel it out. We'll feel it out. But yeah, I think like the other players also started their semi-final game. I don't know, man. Darn adminning stuff. Let's do it. We got a match. They brought Hydras. Charybdis? Okay. Sure. Drama. Anyways, I think it's fine. I think everything is mostly managed. We can just focus on playing the game. Berserker's waiting in the finals. Life is good. He does have the Doom Voltage, so we're just gonna hide. Keep him in the shadows. And we're just gonna get a bunch of skelly horses. And then we're just gonna chill. As long as the guy doesn't see Kottep, we're good. It's actually double Charybdis build. That's kind of wild. Okay.
We have a victory point. Keep it.
Ushopti doing pretty good versus the infantry. You'll love to see it. And I think I'm just gonna do the same thing as last time, but just play a little better. That's the gist of it. Charybdis doesn't heal anyways, so I can actually pepper it down pretty hard, and then we get some Screaming Skull catapults going. Life will be just fine. I just need to make sure I don't get a Doom Bolted. Interesting, they just chucks it out on this guy though. Can I get a tree to body block it? Nope. Doesn't do a lot of damage, however. So not too impressive. Should be able to chuck a pretty nifty Skull Storm over there too. Bully all of those guys. Let's go ahead and get that catapult going. And then with the Ushopti just laying into the Charybdis, I think we're honestly doing just fine. Just have to be a little bit careful is all. I just need to make sure that I summon in some units here to deal with these guys. Because he knows that the Screaming Skull catapult is the most dangerous thing. So he's naturally going to be hard focusing it. But getting that quick summon there is going to catch him out pretty bad. And then if I move Kottep over here, we're good. Just got to make sure he doesn't capture the points. And we're just going to play the same game. We're just going to play the same match as before. Honestly, double Charybdis is kind of wild. He might have just gone hard countered by the same build shenanigans, but I guess we'll see how this plays out. Very good. We've deleted his poor guys over there. And these ones should not do super well either. I think I can... maybe I just go Skeleton Horsemen, man. Kottep should be able to hold this point pretty well. And there he goes. He's forced to retreat. I actually don't know why he keeps Doom Bolting these guys. I do have Necrotechs. So that should be pretty nasty for him. Very nice. Pretty good so far. And I guess I'll just shoot at, I don't know, maybe just some infantry. As long as I hold this point, I should be fine. I also have another Skull Storm. With Dark Elves, you really want to finish off units so that they don't potentially come back when the late game begins. Because they're obviously going to get a huge vigor boost if you're not careful. There you go, big route. Very nice. And the Ushopti are doing pretty good for themselves too. Alright. Pretty solid so far. I think we have a decent advantage. Lord is getting worked on pretty hard. Ouch. Ouch, 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 ouch. Okay, well that's a value get from my opponent, that's for sure. He just took half the HP off of my poor dudes. Pretty brutal. I wonder if I can trigger his passive though. Maybe it's a good thing, you know? If these guys take enough damage, his passive triggers, and then he doesn't get to make use of it. That could be pretty hype. Maybe I'll try that out. There's a big old Ushopti Volley too. He's going for yet another Doom Bolt, I believe. But it really should not do too much. And then once I get my other catapult, then he's pretty screwed. Ain't no way you're dodging two of these guys. There we go. Another Doom Voltage. But the heals are a little bit too much. Can I get it to, dang it. I was wondering if I could get it done. Just a little bit too much. All right, nice. I think this area is starting to get worn down enough where I can just take the point. Still have to be a little careful, but I think we're in the clear. Should be able to catch me some Cold One Knights too. Oh wait, they're right here. My bad. There we go. And some very big routes. Let's just keep the Ushopti alive. And then hopefully our value will also be good. This should be a very interesting fight. Charybdis versus my big boys. I'm pretty sure the Charybdis do not win this though. Pretty sure they win it or they lose quite badly, but we'll see. Let's just scuttle up the artillery pieces. And yeah, the Charybdis don't stand a chance. I think this game was pretty done at army selection by the looks of it. Though I have to be careful. Comebacks are definitely a thing. But losing double Charybdis right as the passive triggers too. And he's probably going to lose his Lord. Yeah. That's rough. No, the Charybdis is still... it might actually hang around for a little bit. I just, yeah. If his Lord dies, though, it's pretty done for? I don't know. He's actually tussling pretty hard. Gonna need another one of these to kill off the Cold One Knights. Charybdis comes back, too. Look at that. Okay, but he's down his Lord. He's down his Lord, and I have the Ushopti for the other Charybdis. I'm just kind of lacking actual units here, but... aside from that, I think we are totally fine. Yeah, that one's not going to make it. This one's going to die. My boys simply have too much HP left. And I have my Ushopti summoned. It's a pretty decisive victory this time around.
One of your units has been destroyed.
Yeah, let's just give him the buff. Oh, crap. I did let my Ushopti get caught, though. Slightly unfortunate, but still not a big deal at the end of the day. But we have the double cap. And I think a second Necrotect will do really well. Though, wait, actually, he's about to take this point. Got to prevent that from happening. Let's pull the Ushopti back, finish off the Charybdis. Definitely having two Screaming Skull catapults is great here. Ooh, and he barely takes the point.
captured one of your
Actually
victory
quite well
points.
played on his
Take it
part.
back.
But yeah, this is just like a little bit too much, right? Without his lord, without both Charybdises. I guess if I don't retake this point, it could be a little sketchy. But how is he going to deal with these big beasties, right? Aren't they just a little bit too chonky? Well, we'll see. It's a pretty decent charge versus the Corsairs. They don't have the best mass. One Charybdis actually comes back, though. Kind of wild. And his lord, too. Okay. His infantry's getting deleted on this far end, though. Let's check back over here. We can just fight the Charybdis. And yeah, his range are going to die here, too. Very unfortunate. It kind of sucks that my opponent thought that we were playing the semifinal game. But maps were not decided yet, so... That's kind of the indicator that we don't have a top 4 situation. Hopefully I don't get a bunch of drama later about me rigging the games, but the bot is supposed to message. Unless the bot did message and then like it just, what if it just didn't message? Like what if it messaged everyone but me? That would be kind of crazy. I should double check and ask. Because if that's the case, then that's actually a big issue with the bot that I should fix. And if I end up winning this, then I don't get the tournament point, but I should double check. GG. Gee. I'll check with the other players, but for now we'll just face Berserk. Yo. Yeah, if you just well, I don't know, it's just a double Charybdis was just super bad here. At the end of the day, Cheetah City rigs his own tournament. I wish I could feel good about that joke, but oh man, people are gonna get worked up, man. At least it's not as bad as the Warhammer 2 days. Way back, you know, there would be clan drama. There would be lots of clan drama. So like if you screw someone over, they'll all message you. Oh, and the map was the same too. Oh my gosh. Well, that's annoying. Wait, what the crap? Okay, so the bot did message. It messaged everyone except for me. What the crap? I don't think I've had that happen before. Alright, so I've offered to my opponent if they want to just take my spot. If they want to just take my spot, they can. Because at the end of the day, that's my code that that broke. I'll leave it up to them if they want to do that or not. Yo, that's crazy though. It must have messaged a bunch of people and then broke. It probably messaged a bunch of people and then had an error. And then, yeah. All right, yeah. So, by some crazy coincidence, the, whoops. Yeah, by some crazy coincidence, the the random map I chose for our practice match was the semifinal map, which is kind of insane. Honestly, the tournament win doesn't matter much to me. It's not like there's money on the line. But yeah, oh my gosh, the random map I selected was also the random map that it said for the semifinals, so it made it look like the semifinals as much as possible. So I'll just give it to my opponent, it's fine. Wiggities, did you miss a loss? Yeah, in a weird turn of events. Technically this build has lost in the tournament only once though. It's pretty good. Tomb King's not bad. But yeah, I definitely need to do a big code dive. I need to do a big code dive after today. That is some jank. That is some mega jank. It's fine though, we still get a pretty nice finals. I know bot just super screwing it up. Let's see here. Yeah, it's definitely because it sent like to all the players but me. What the crap? All right. So yeah, I'll need to fix that up later after this one. Oh, we should have a fun game. It's gonna be Dark Elves versus we'll see. Berserk might be playing High Elves, which is very not what I'm used to seeing them play. Should be pretty cool. While we wait, I'll just work on the bot because it's bugging me. Oh my gosh. How? How did it break so hard? It's really bad too because there's so many error codes. Oh wait, oh no, it does show error codes here. No, but that's none of the errors that I ran into. What a ripoff. I think it has something to do with me finishing my match being the last one. I don't know. The bot does a little trolling. Oh man. This is what I get for vibe coding. This is what I get for vibe coding and pushing it live. I will say though, it did help me get the bot done way faster than I did before when I just coded it myself. And I will also not lie, AI is better at coding than me. It's been so many years since I've actually done software development. So it happens. Seems like Zinch machinations are afoot. We got Zinched. Between that and the lag. Oh boy. I am excited to play another tournament tomorrow though. We actually got one lined up, I believe. Let me double check. I have one today, we have one tomorrow, and we have one on Friday. I've just loaded up weekday tournaments again. Not too much campaign. But yeah, I just really want to like get back into the swing of things, have some fun. Oh. But first things first, I gotta fix the bot. So let's see here. First things first. It's really weird. Message did not send. Let me check over here. The server that I'm using to host my bot, it has a limited number of logging that it does. So I just don't get an error message. Dang it. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna vibe code again. Screw it. Screw it, I'm so tired. And then if it doesn't work, I'll just... This should be pretty good. Alright, it's a small bit of code. We can do a little bit of vibing. This feels so terrible though. Let's see here. Can you change this code? This feels unethical almost, but look. It's the only way I can do this mid-tournament to quell the thoughts in my mind. Can you change this code so that if a message doesn't send, keep it in memory and then send it later? Question mark. And then try sending it later. All right, here we go. Don't forget that. Make no mistakes. Holy jeez. That's a lot more code than I was expecting. Let's see here. Oh, that seems real sketchy. This code has a while true command. You didn't just throw out a while true for nothing. Does it have a break in there? Okay, well, it has a while true loop. And then, okay, yeah, no, this ain't what I'm looking for. You need to be a little code literate. Although, let's see here. Failed messages. Okay, so this part is fine. Also, we're loaded into the game. I will get to the game in a second. Yeah, let's do this. Yeah, message did not send. Failed message append. Okay. I'll figure it out later. For now, let's just enjoy the game. Let's just enjoy the game, people. We can do janky, sketchy coding later at another time. We have two players. Flower and Berserk of Land Battle fame. We got some K-Knight Assassins over here. We got some Scourge Runners, very fun. A Marathi, that's actually quite uncommon. She was more common in the land battle days, but surprised to see her here. I see. Interesting. A nifty build. They're going to be up against the High Elves. And the High Elves, they've gone for just a little bit of skirmish, a little bit of Oceanids. Nothing crazy. You want to see the Tomb Kings finals? I'll be playing more Tomb Kings in the future. They do seem quite strong. But yeah, it's definitely more fair considering the circumstances. I thought the bot didn't message anyone, and it was really weird that they thought we were playing the semifinals games. But it turns out the bot messaged them. It didn't message me. And the map that I picked for what I thought was a practice match was the actual semifinals match. Real weird situation. Better safe than sorry. We'll just let them play the match. Because, hey, we still get to enjoy a very nice game. Look at this. Doom bolts on Marathi. Very fun. Hammered into some cavalry, I guess. I think it missed the lion chariot. When you go into the trees, and chariots too, they have a pretty high chance of dodging doom bolts. K-Knight assassins are very fun for countering skirmishers, by the way. But weirdly enough, Alithanar is kind of laying into this guy. Big volley, he dodges, still takes a bit of damage. But yeah, Alithanar's already gone 225 value. If he keeps up this pace, he'll be at 1,000 gold value in 4 minutes. Which I think is quite unlikely. But very fun to see, you know, assassins on both sides. You don't usually see this. Are these warriors? Just warriors, not walkers. They don't have poison attacks. Kind of an aggressive Oceanid charge, by the way. Not very worked. And so far, we're kind of seeing like jabs at each other, you know? Both sides are not really committing to a fight. They're not going into a grapple. But they're both just punching into each other. Actually, a bit of friendly fire, though, from the Shadow Warriors. A little unfortunate. But yeah, they're kind of just poking around. Both sides have taken a good amount of damage. Oceanid slightly inefficient. K-Knight assassin damage on them is inefficient on the Dark Elf side. But the infantry are still quite healthy. And the question is, will they go for a big fight? Right now, we have 2 points captured for the High Elves. So they don't need to take a fight. The only time we would see them engage is if the High Elf player Berserk thinks that they have a good advantage. If Berserk feels like, hey, you know, even though it's not the best to go for the win now, you know, maybe it's a moment of opportunity. Maybe my opponent's going to summon other stuff. And if I can take the win now, why risk them potentially coming back? That's one option. Seems like they're not taking it, though. Continuing the skirmish, as most of their units are skirmishers. But it does mean that the Dark Elves, they're going to be holding strong. Oh my gosh, and now he pushes in. Okay, to stop the middle point from being taken. Now this should be interesting. Because I was thinking Dark Elves were a little weak. They did summon a unit of infantry. So that means they won't actually have the full force to bear. But same with Berserk. Both players hovering a good amount of supplies. And a lot of spells are now dropping. So we got a Mighty Roar on these guys. That doesn't do damage. The K-Knight Assassins, though, they do. They have the Web of Shadows, which is basically like a mini Final Transmutation around them. And that's pretty nice for this little blob fight. See, they've actually routed off the Rogara's Pride. Most of the Dark Elf units are sticking around too. I mean, High Elf units. I'm getting it totally mixed up. Though most of the Dark Elf units are holding. And High Elves got pretty battered. In fact, Dark Elves have quite the advantage. And this is looking pretty pretty nifty for the Dark Elves. I do worry a bit for the Assassins, but if they're Murderous Prowess procs and this fight is still going, I think Dark Elves win. They already have a really nice advantage, and that's before their giant power amp. Alithanar is also taking a lot of damage too from the Assassins, and we're seeing a little bit of a sniping attempt. Marathi coming in with the steel chair, knocks him to the ground. New SC chasing behavior makes it so that she doesn't run past him and in a circle. Very annoying behavior before. You can see they're much better now at sticking onto targets and actually attacking them. Pretty rough. 10,000 combined years of elven lives lost in a small local skirmish. Yeah, kind of weird how that lore works. A little bit of lag again, by the way. That's not good. If the game crashes now, though, it's pretty in the advantage of the Dark Elves. The value trading is simply too high. There's like nothing left here. Ocean, it's going to take 50 years to show up. Dark Elves could summon in a bunch of stuff too. But hopefully we don't have a crash. And Berserk drops. Berserk drops. He did say he was lagging earlier, so maybe he just called it quits. But that was quite the Dark Elf advantage. Now I'm gonna have to message Berserk. Well, it was pretty advantage for the Dark Elves though. Like Alithanaar was gonna straight up die to Marathi. Their internet is dead. RIP. All right. Gonna message the players, got an admin. But yeah, that was a 2,000 gold lead. Alithanaar was gonna die, and the Dark Elves were gonna have the passive proc in a second. And there was like 2 units stuck in the trees for the High Elves. So there was basically no comeback potential. But we'll see what they want. Flower wants to wait for them. Alright, so then we're gonna get a replay. So we'll let Berserk connect, and then we're good. That was pretty favored for the Dark Elves, but you know, it's nice. They want to have an actual match, not just a disconnect. So we'll just wait for that, and then we can finish this cursed tournament, man. What's going on? Flower versus Berserk sounds like Coughing Baby versus Nuke. Name wise or player wise? Because Flower doesn't seem that bad. You know, Shadow Walkers can survive a lead belcher shot if standing near Alithanaar's AoE missile resist. That's some wild tech. Does it usually one shot the lead belcher thing? How's this person have no name? Yeah, it must be some weird Steam thing. You can use like weird characters, and it won't display properly in Warhammer. But all right, we'll let Berserk reconnect. What's this? Eldars? Yeah, in 40k Eldars. Look, the lore is not supposed to make that much sense. It's... I think, I remember someone said before. But yeah, someone said all factions in the Warhammer universes are both on the brink of death and very strong and terrifying at the same time. Like, yeah. All right, spec slot is needed. So like Skaven, right? They're both the underdog and a force to be reckoned with. All the Chaos Gods are super strong, and they could take over if only they would stop infighting. That's That's just how it be. Skaven our plot device. But yeah, and 40k even more so, right? All of them technically have what they need to just completely dominate, but for story reasons, they're not just going to end the universe. 110 missile damage from lead belchers kills most range infantry. That just kills most infantry, period. I'm surprised the Elithanar buff even keeps them alive. Name-wise, I see. Yeah, Flower versus Berserker. Oh, meat for the meat gods. Yeah, infighting. I feel like they've used infighting too much though as a cop-out. Always with the infighting, man. The only time they don't have that is with Tyranids. Tyranids don't infight, right? Which confuses me. How haven't the Tyranids just taken over everything? Shouldn't Tyranids be like super OP? I guess they are in the process of taking over everything. But like, from what I get from the lore, it's not like they've pushed back the Tyranids. But yeah, Chaos infights, Greenskins infight. The Empire of Man infights. They're very far away, but mostly win. Alright, I'll give them a pass on that one. The battle begins again. They take their time eating planets. Eating all the planets they take. You think, I hope they do Tyranids justice, campaign map-wise. Because I feel like there's a bunch of cool campaign mechanics you could do there. They're extremely slow when it comes to FTL. Oh. Okay, so they're just a slow tide then. That's kind of nifty. I like that. And the battle goes the same. Pew pew. Elithanar dodges the shot. Get down, sir. Shadow Warrior took it. -1 Shadow Warrior. The Dark Elves and the High Elves. They are about to clash again. Shadow Warriors are dodging. They're not perfect at dodging, but they're definitely up trading. These Shadow Warriors. I mean, the Knight Assassins. They're doing pretty well there. Melkoths, very good versus Silver Helms. We're basically seeing an exact replay of the previous battle, but this time the Chariots are really melting the Silver Helms. Medusa is here too again, and the Dark Elves take a very decisive early game advantage, mostly because the Knight Assassins are actually dodging properly. Big Medusa shot too. Honestly, this is going really bad for the High Elves. The only reason it was going better before is because the Knight Assassins were kind of dying. But if they keep dodging, and they are, there's not a whole lot that's up trading here. We will see a Lion Chariot move on in. Getting a nifty little charge on the infantry. Bleak Swords. Kind of getting bullied, but I don't know, man. This is just a replay of the last game. Almost. Elithanar still needs more value. We've hit that point. But see, last time he had 250 gold. This time Elithanar is 250 gold less. And the Chariots are at half HP. Cold One Knights just jumped them. Slowed down in the trees. The charge speed bonus from the Cold One Knights will be able to land a few hits on them. Now the Melkoths. Okay, if it's the exact same game, we're going to see a mosh pit fight over here. And the Knight Assassins are going to get the Web of Shadows. Get ready, people. Mosh pit is beginning. High Elves do have a triple cap this time, though, but taking more capture points means you're usually going to be down trading. It just makes sense, right? You can't control the map and up trade unless you're just better in every single way. And here we go. Big spells get chucked. Oh my gosh. We're going to see Plague of Rust. And there's the Web of Shadows. Elithanar's also very low again. Are we going to see the Marathi play? Come on. You have to do it. Send the Marathi on the Lithanar. He's ready to die. We can finally see how the game would have played out. I think Berserker's about to summon 2 Oceanids and maybe a Cav unit. They actually forgot to summon, which is a little unfortunate for them. But this is definitely a much bigger massacre from last time. They might be a little flustered from the disconnect. I know I would be. Or maybe just natural battle RNG. Just a few misplays here and there will turn it, but it's completely over, man. There ain't nothing left with the High Elves. We haven't even gotten the Murderous Prowess proc yet. It's good, though, you know? I think this gives closure to both players. Better than having the tournament just be called by me. Your local tournament host and player, who may or may not be biased. Hopefully not biased, but you can't get rid of any of everything. So, you know, they settle it on their terms. Now, it turns out those terms are heavily favored for Flower, with some exquisite Dark Elf play and builds. But, yeah. Kind of a fast one. Brutal. You think there's any way High Elves can come back? The double cap now. Dark Elves technically only need 2 points to win. But they might have misplayed. Look at that. They didn't capture this point. That's going to change everything. If the Dark Elves go AFK right now, they would lose. If they lose Marathi, they would actually kind of fall behind too. But, oof. She takes off into the skies. Are you kidding me? Lucky Marathi. I think the Reavers, the Silver Helms, might have not landed an attack. I don't know if you need to just be in contact with the unit or if you need to land attacks. I think you just need to be in contact, which is doubly surprising that Marathi did not get shut down there. Gonna chuck a Doom Bolt on this caster because she just really hates mages, I guess. Didn't friendly fire herself. Surprise, surprise. I'm looking for points where Dark Elves can maybe throw. But yeah, that mage is gone, man. She gone and she ain't coming back. Damage sustained is too high. Now the Dark Elf passive is triggered. Right as the Dark Riders show up to massacre these Shadow Warriors. He just needs to kill a Lithanar and it's basically done. Though, never say never. High Elves have had a bit of a resurgence. Since we did see a little bit more spending. Berserk broke the piggy bank. But he still has many issues to deal with. So you can see Soul Sealer is triggered. Lots of AoEs in this blob. Medusa is still alive. And the K-Knight Assassins are still alive. So that's about 4 threats that have to be dealt with. K-Knight Assassins are almost dead. But as long as they live, they're still going to be very annoying little dudes. And if a Lithanar dies, it's basically nothing that can actually kill them. Not to mention they're pretty good for capture rate. But oh! The lag again! Surely this time is the time, right? Surely, I think it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear that the Dark Elves won this, right? High Elves have 2 units of Axe Infantry and 1 Oceanid. Dark Elves have Marathi. Every time a Lithanar gets to like 1/3 HP, this happens. Oh boy. Well, there we go. There he goes. All right. That's unfortunate. But that game was pretty donezo, okay? I'm not gonna have that play again. I have a day to get 2 people. And I have a bot to fix. But, yeah. Yeah, let's just call it a day. Let's just call it a day. That was a pretty nifty Dark Elf play, though. Flower did very well. Good to see some newcomers into the scene. Obviously, I think they come from the land battle scene, so they know what they're doing. And quite the proficient player. This tournament was cursed. It was very cursed. I'll message the players. All right. Okay, and Berserk gives the win. I'll get you your tournament win soon. Congrats. Okay. We did it. We made it to the end of the tournament. People don't hate my guts. The bot needs some fixing, but I can live with that. Ugh. Trizik, if you are around, let me know when you give. He's already on it. Oh, look at this guy. Trizik's amazing, guys. Shout out to Trizik. Very helpful moderator and modder of the game. I am gonna call it a day. I hope you guys had a good time. We had some good matches. A little bit of jank here and there, a little bit of lag, but we made it through. Tomorrow, I'm gonna fix that bot, and we're gonna have another tournament. And hopefully, it all goes well. See you guys then. And remember, we're back to 5 days a week streaming. Weekdays, 1 p.m. EST. So keep an eye out for those. And hopefully I can be back for a while. See ya.